and that it's always an adjustment every single day.
Chicoine to serve. Onto the back row, touching it over is Beeson. Kept alive. Almost able to keep it in play with the Cornhuskers, but the opening point goes to Purdue off the touch.
And a great shot by Hudson. We know that Hudson and Chicoine are going to be fed no matter what. And if Nebraska can defend against that well, then they're going to have success this match.
Hudson coming off a very strong opening weekend of Big Ten play. Led the team with 15 kills at Rutgers, 20 kills at Maryland. Second serve from Chicoine. Hard serve. Murray blocked, still alive, free ball over. Quick back set on the slide, blocked again. Anderson goes across. That one falls just out.
Just a little bit far off the net, but I think overall that Eva Hudson is trying to tool the block. She understands that in front of her, the blockers have big hands and they're able to block whatever is coming their way. So testing out the block is sometimes what you need to do to be successful.
Set number one tied up at 1 apiece. Riley serve. Out the back row. Chicoine not able to put it down. There's a touch over the block. Nicely done there by Murray.
Murray knows how to mix up her shots, especially with her roll shots as well. Whenever you're hitting, you know that they're going to hit as hard as they can. So if you can mix up your shots every once in a while, it comes in handy when it comes to the defenders.
Murray showing a lot of maturity as well as a young player, able to utilize a variety of tools. Also two-time Big Ten Freshman of the Week. That one with a little friendly touch off the net does fall.
A little bit of a crazy ball, but sometimes things work, especially when it comes to coming off of the net. It's a little bit weird, but overall you just need to be ready for whatever ball comes your way.
Hudson able to get a touch on that one. It's a service. Just a little bit high on that set. Beeson is able to send it over. Off the block and down. Nicely done by Hudson.
Exactly the goal that she was trying to do in the beginning of the match. She was trying to tool the block, and she did it so far. Using high hands right in between both hands for the seam for the block. It's impressive to see how she's able to do so.
Nebraska holding opponents to the toughest and lowest hitting percentage in the country. And there's an early mistake, just a little miscue there from the Cornhuskers, not characteristic of this group.
A little bit of a disconnect, but it's okay because when it comes to middles, it's hard to connect with your setters on such a fast tempo. So just communicating with your setter every once in a while to let you know, hey, let's try this differently and it'll be successful next time.
Bergen Riley, reigning Big Ten setter and freshman of the week, still trying to find that groove with her teammates, and there it's going to be called out. Hit the ceiling, it would appear, here inside a Holloway gymnasium, so that's going to be out of play.
But you can tell that she really took that ball. When it comes to really hard balls coming towards you, just sit back, put your arms out, and let the ball come towards you, and let, hopefully, it get as high as you can, but not too high to into the ceiling.
Murray with the service error after Coach Cook mentioned she's been working a lot on serve, something she's been spending time doing in the gym. He mentioned he's been trying to impress upon these freshmen how important the serve game is. If you can put into context, what does it mean to be able to serve tough for the Cornhuskers?
To serve tough for the Cornhuskers is finding seams where other players aren't usually have their strongest. So if you are more dominant towards your right and you're getting served to the left, it understands that the players in front of you are going to do whatever they can to find seams and to find your, I guess, less dominant skill set.
Alec with the kill. Excellent out the middle, third in the country, first in the Big Ten in blocks per set, but also can put the ball down. But out of system here, off the block, kept in play. A back set and a hard swing from Beeson.
And a great set from Riley as well. She really uses her body to place her hands where she wants it to go for the ball. Just really not knowing where the ball is going to go, but also adding on to the ball is going to go exactly where I need to help my pins be successful.
Beeson, a Florida transfer, averaging just under 3.5 kills per set. Off the block and stuffed.
A little bit of a disconnect right now between the middles and the setters so far. So I think that we are recognizing that in the Big Ten, the middles are a force to be reckoned with, and they're making adjustments to that so far this season.
Nebraska now with the 1-point lead. Rodriguez to serve. One from the outside, Hudson denied. It does tool it off, well done.
A little bit of an antenna, but a great handwork by our Nebraska blockers right now.
Tied up here in set number 1. Touched over the block. Another touch, but it's put right back down. Batenhorst there ready for it.
Just overall, we know that Nebraska has great defense, especially in the back row, but for them to be dominant in the front row as well to help the back row is going to be, I guess right now, a big success for Nebraska this match.
Batenhorst averaging just under 1 block per set. And huge this season, and there's going to be a service error from Beeson. Tied up once again here in set number 1.
Right now, the mentality of players for serving, especially so far into the game, but also, I guess, very early in the match as well, you notice that this just needs to be an easy ball to get the play started instead of trying to score.
Raven Colvin back to serve now, leads the team with 15 aces. Batenhorst, stuffed, still in play. She'll try again, gets it over the block. Out of system here is Purdue, forced to send it over to Chacoin. Batenhorst blocked again, still alive, what a rally. Batenhorst tries again, this time the Purdue block is successful.
A competitive rally as well, seeing that both of our middles on both sides are really giving the ball to their pins and just defending well. I love seeing all of the players just pass, set, hit, and cover as well. So that's important to be under your hitter and under the block as well, just in case the player in front of you gets blocked.
Purdue now with the 1-point lead. Another service from Colvin, but this time it's going to be an error.
Seeing Colvin and how many aces she has on her team is impressive as a middle because you have so many responsibilities in the front row. But for a middle to go back there and do what you need to do to help your team be successful when it comes to aces is very important for a program.
That's one thing I'd wanted to ask you about as a middle. It feels like a pitcher in baseball. You don't necessarily work on hitting. As a middle, you're at the net so much, you don't necessarily get the same reps at the service line. That one over the block, but still in play. There's a hard hit off the block by Murray, still alive. Murray again gets the touch. Point, Nebraska.
Almost there. We're seeing a lot of Nebraska pins, and what I mean by that with pins is just their outsides and their right sides doing whatever they can to hit the block and just power through whatever seam they can find.
Serve from Showboy. There's a hard hit from the middle. That's exactly what you were looking for, that little quick set, and nicely done by Myers.
Especially from a young player as well. We love to see when players that aren't really established as much finally hit those really amazing shots that you never see with middles because it's hard to hit those balls to go straight down, and she did it.
Myers' first kill of the match. Another serve here for Purdue, tied up at 9 apiece. Kept in play after Jackson took a swing. Oh, pretty move, and it does fall, called on the line.
One thing about Chacoin is she's going to find the seams not only between the players, but between the players and the line as well. She's going to challenge the court as best she can to score because it's very, very hard to do so.
Chacoin averaging more than 4 kills per set. Short serve here. Overpass. Out of the back row is Hudson.
A little bit of a messy play, but I think that Hudson is trying to really challenge the block, but sometimes it's a little bit short when it goes into the net.
Tied up at 10 apiece here, this first set, not disappointing. Eva Hudson averaging 3.84 kills per set. Mentioned it, had an outstanding weekend in the first 2 Big Ten matches for this team.
When you see such a young program really leading the Big Ten in percentages and hitting points, it's impressive to see how they come from a club and they come from a program that was not as fast as it is now. So seeing their adjustment and the programs really get them up to speed is amazing.
Chacoin able to tool the block here.
That's what she does best. I love when she's not afraid to challenge the block at all.
Chacoin now to serve. 12 aces coming into this matchup. Hard serve, good receive. Off the block. Back set. Hudson still alive. Great rally. Out of the back row, a big swing from Beeson.
We're definitely seeing a lot of scrap between the two teams right now. That means you are seeing that both the teams are challenging each other when it comes to blocks and passes. So it's all over the place, but if they can get a momentum to be a lot more calm, especially with young teams, they are, I guess, always on edge. So if they can find some calmness and maturity to this match, it'll bring them some success.
Riley to serve. Received by Skidmore. Touch over the block, kept alive. Hard hit by Beeson. Another touch over. Murray still in play. Chacoin out of the back row.
With the same seam as well. She is finding those spots on the court like no other. Not only is she hitting from the pipe in the back row, but she is also hitting different kinds of seams that you usually don't see when it comes to outside hitters.
Service. Hard denial there, still in play. And there's a little miscue from the Cornhuskers, point Purdue.
But overall, a great block from Raven. She is up and ready for Becca to hit whatever shot she can get.
Raven Colvin with a season-high 10 blocks at Maryland. Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week, thanks to those efforts. Out of Indianapolis, Indiana. That one's long. Not called a touch, which may have been what Nebraska was waiting for.
When you have players such as Nebraska versus Purdue, we can recognize that the height difference is really there. So when you're not used to playing against big players or when you're not used to playing against shorter players, it's really interesting to see the dynamic between opponents on both sides.
What a cross-court shot by Beeson.
A very easy cross-court shot. Beeson really is a lefty, so she understands on when it comes to hitting as fast as you can and really getting around the block and not only being inside, but being as fast as you can with your arm swing to score.
14-12, Purdue with the lead, but Cornhuskers continuing to battle. Hard swing from Hudson. Almost able to dig it there was Rodriguez, but she ends up getting the kill.
And another great cross short back. She's doing a great job of both people just doing what they can to score with those cross-court shots and really challenging the libero across the net.
Take a quick break here. Just an absolutely dominant put down there. Purdue with the 15-12 lead in set number one. They also happen to be 4th and 5th in the Big Ten in kills and points per sets. What makes these two pins so dynamic?
Dave Shondell has talked about basically they're not just playing defense and just blocking and serving. Coach is pleased by how they're both holding up emotionally with such a tough schedule and with their desire and drive to be successful. And they want their team to be successful as well. So both are playing all 6 rotations, and the question is, how do they hold up?
No surprise, they're leading the way tonight. Hudson with 5 kills, hitting .333. Chacoin with 3 kills, hitting .500. Kept alive. Rodriguez sends it forward out of system. Another scramble. Free ball over. Back in system here is Nebraska, and there's a big hit by Beeson.
An easy shot with her being a right side and an outside as well. She does an impressive job of getting around the block and really using her advantage of just her arm swing from left to right and really impressing the defense and the block as well.
Beeson out of Gardendale, Alabama, the Florida transfer, coming in and has been huge for the Cornhuskers. Nebraska still trailing by 2. There is a hard hit down the line by Hudson.
It looks like a very easy shot as well, especially 2 blockers in front of you. That's very impressive. Getting on top of the ball and hitting straight down when you see such a small seam like that is so important.
Hudson, an AVCA All-America honorable mention selection. There's a hard serve. Another one out of the back row, Beeson.
If it's working, why not keep feeding her, especially right before she goes to the back row. Just keep on feeding somebody that gets on top of the ball and has a great cross-body shot.
Beeson been very efficient tonight, hitting .625. That's her 5th kill, giving those fans in the stands quite the show, and this Purdue team a run for their money. Touch over the block by Chicoine, successful. And we talked about her ability to change up the shots. Little finesse gets it done.
And she's doing it right over the block as well. When it comes to the timing of tipping, it has to be right over top of the ball and then right over the block and the defense as well. So timing is absolutely everything when it comes to dumping and tipping.
In addition to timing, what kind of body movements do you have to do to be deceptive and to trick the block as well?
Exactly what you said. You have to trick it. You can't move your body too much to the point where you're convincing them that you're about to tip. So act like you're going to hit, and at the very last second, tip the ball.
After a little scramble, Nebraska able to keep it in play, but Kenna Woolard puts it down.
A great pancake, especially coming from a middle as well. That's so impressive to see all players just getting on the ground as best they can to keep the ball alive.
And freshman outside Kenna Woolard getting some action. Had a rough first couple matches, but then really strong against Rutgers last weekend. There's the overpass, joust at the net. Scramble to keep it alive, but point Purdue.
Purdue has a great lead right now that they need to really close out in order to be successful for this set right now.
19-14, Purdue with the lead here over second-ranked Nebraska. They've only lost 3 sets on the season. Could they possibly lose a 4th here in the opener? Quick timeout for the to a 106 hitting percentage. That's the best mark in the country. However, tonight, Purdue hitting .333 here in set number 1. Now, something Coach Cook mentioned is that this young group for Nebraska going to have to adjust to playing in the Big Ten on the road. How do you try to handle that type of environment?
Being on the road and encouraging different environments and really using the ability to challenge yourself when you're in these environments and playing against these amazing teams, it's to really center yourself and communicate with your teammates and communicate with your coaches about what you need to be successful as an athlete, whether it's extra meditation or just overall connecting with the trainer more. So it's always, I guess, your only individual accomplishments.
Both coaches talking about how the Big Ten just has a different feel in that action. Now there is a hard kill from Batenhorst.
We're not surprised, especially in the Big Ten right now. We are seeing that everyone is trying to play faster, and it's just a part of the deal. So John Cook has recognized that these two players are going to get all the love, and if we have players on our side of the well that is getting all the love, then that's going to help us a lot.
Andy Jackson, rather, getting in on the action. That's her first kill of the night. Nebraska still trails by 4. That one tooled off the block by Woolard.
I'm curious to see how these players are really using the tool on the block. With Nebraska having such great defense in the front row, it's interesting to see how they're using the outside's hands to score on each ball that they're getting.
Coach Shondell mentioned he wanted his Boilermakers to do that coming into this match. Not easy to execute necessarily, though. What are they doing so well to be successful in those points?
It's all about the timing. When you see the block in front of you and when you see the ball that you're given by the setter, it's important to recognize that I can make this happen and I can make this work if I can just challenge the block as best I can and seeing what's in front of me and taking action from it.
Right on cue, there's Jackson back-to-back. Gets it done once again for the Cornhuskers. Down by four, but certainly not out here in set number 1. Or to serve. Out of the back row is Hudson. Nice dig. Out of the back row is Beeson.
We're seeing a lot of balls right now with Nebraska hitting out of bounds, but they may have a game plan to as well challenge the block, but sometimes if the block isn't completely there, it's hard to read and hard to manage overall.
Purdue now up 21-16, closing in on a win in set number 1, which would be just Nebraska's 4th set loss of the season. Chicoine to serve. A little bit, almost an overpass, but a nice recovery there by Riley.
A dump as well. When the ball is that close to the net, setters have the opportunity to score as well and just dump wherever they see the ball, challenging their middle blocker in front of you and really saying, are you going to challenge me? And let's try and go for it.
Riley, the reigning Big Ten setter and freshman of the week, averaging more than 12.5 assists in those sweeps of Ohio State and Minnesota. Oh, hard one out of the back row by Chicoine.
Straight to Rodriguez as well, challenging a libero that is amazing at what she does. So it's impressive to see players not back down to their competition across the net.
22-17 now the score. Touch over the block, nicely done by Murray.
And there's the mix-up shots that we talked about with Murray. She understands the timing of when you can see the defense in the back row and the defense in the front row as well. Noticing that, yes, this is the time where I can mix up shots or just wail at it and try to score as best I can.
Murray to serve. Nebraska trailing by 4. Hard serve, out of system, out of the back row is Chicoine, kept alive. Big hit from Krause.
With both the blocks being a little bit off the net, it really is, I guess, an opportunity for attackers to challenge the block like we talked about. When you see a little bit of space or when a block is a little bit off the net, there's a seam that you can use and really seize the day with that.
Reserve. This time it goes long. Service error, point for Purdue.
Really closing out this set, I would love to see Nebraska try to switch up their momentum to get a great serve receive and feed it to their outside hitters to score.
Purdue with the opportunity to deliver just Nebraska's 4th set loss of the season. That one does fall just out. So close, though.
A very close ball towards the libero as well. So challenging the people in the back row and seeing what they can do is so impressive, but just a little bit off. They understood that it was far out, but a very risky call by them.
Just inches away there as we take another look at the replay. Purdue making a challenge on the call. From what you saw, did it look out of play?
It looked a little bit out. Of course, any part of the ball that touches the line, that counts as in. And liberos, they understand that if the ball is out, the ball is out. But of course, the line judge, they have a way better perception of where the ball actually is. This angle seems pretty out, but of course, if we can get another angle from the side, could be a great tell if it was in or not.
The freshman setter, Taylor Anderson, trying to deliver late in set number 1 for her team, and it could come down to just a matter of inches, even millimeters. And it is decided the call stands, so point Nebraska. They trail by 3 here in set number 1. So there you see challenges remaining. Nebraska still has 2, Purdue has just 1.
This right here, with so late in the set, really shows the maturity of both sides of the opponents to see what can they do right now to help their team win.
There was a swing coming from Colvin. Takes the touch, so here is a huge opportunity. Purdue with the set point. Nebraska has won 33 of their last 36 sets. That's all of them coming into this matchup this season. This could be monumental for Purdue. What type of confidence would this give the Boilermakers if they take the opening set here?
This would give them great confidence to show them, yes, we can do this. Yes, we can take sets. And if we can take sets, we can take matches as well. For Nebraska, their mindset should be, we can build our momentum back up. Even though it's 2024, we can find ways to score no matter what. So overall, both players can do a great job of just finding maturity and finding encouragement for one another to win the set.
And Nebraska is challenging the touch call here. There's Colvin taking the swing.
The ball is moving, yes, but I don't see any touch from hands, though, so it may or may not be out, of course.
This is a critical decision, as this is what delivered the Boilermakers their first set point opportunity.
A little bit of a misconnect with Raven hitting the ball not only on the way down, but also a little bit awkwardly. Being so high in the air, it's hard for a setter and for a middle to connect when Raven Colvin is told by Dave Shondell that she's hitting 10-9.
Call is reversed, and it is determined out of play. So huge swing here in the momentum. So Purdue no longer with a set point. Suddenly Nebraska has life. Rodriguez to serve. Almost an overpass there, hard hit by Hudson. Good dig. Just touched over the block. Jackson.
A very interesting play as well, with the ball barely getting into the court and barely hitting on her hand. But it's going to be very interesting to see how they both recover from this.
Another freshman, Andy Jackson, stepping up. This one coming down to the wire, 23-22 the score.
Don't mind me.
The Cornhuskers fighting to keep this set streak alive. They've lost the fewest sets in the NCAA so far this season, winning 33 of 36. They're in a stretch going against 5 consecutive ranked opponents. They've won the last 4. This, the 5th and final matchup during that stretch. Now they've got to come up with something here. If you are in that huddle, what is the message to this Cornhusker group?
The message is to go back to basics when it comes to just setting the players that you know are going to be confident with it, or also setting players that you know can score in times like this. The competition and just the nerves of players are at an all-time high to let's win this set, let's keep our record going. So let's do whatever we can to make the ball across the net as hard as we can.
Rodriguez to serve. That one goes long. Service error will give Purdue the set point opportunity.
Very interesting to see players and them right off of a timeout to a serve to keep it consistent. So sometimes it is very difficult for a player to go into the huddle and then back into the game to have to do as best as they can.
Nebraska calls the timeout, still battling in set number 1, 24-22 the score.
On a hard
Set number 1 in this top 25 women's volleyball showdown, coming down to the wire. Purdue with the set point. And coming up, the doubleheader rolls on as 15th ranked Penn State takes on Illinois. Women's volleyball, powered by Unleaded 88, continues next only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. So don't go anywhere. Lots of great action to come, but still a lot of great action to come here inside of Holloway Gymnasium. Purdue just absolutely taking it to the second-ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers here in set number 1. What do they do in this moment to finish off this set?
Of course, in this moment, Purdue needs to score. That's always a go-to. With them having an advantage, they need to serve towards somewhere that they see is their weakest passer and really work from that.
Still in play after Beeson attempts the kill, but stuffed. Sent back over again. That one just down the line. It is called out of play. Purdue takes set number 1. What a shocking decision. Some of the Nebraska Cornhuskers signaling that they thought there was a touch. Will head coach John Cook challenge that point?
No matter what, with a challenge, you can use this as either a timeout to bring the team back together, or possibly, you never know, when something may or may not touch the ball that looks more like a touch if we're looking at it. And it's very interesting to see how players know when there's a touch, and they understand that I know how to score and this is how I'm going to do it. Even if it doesn't have a clear-eye view, this is the way that it's going to go.
Head coach John Cook calling the challenge, believing there was a touch as Kenna Woolard went up to block for Purdue.
Yes, we do see a little bit of a touch straight off the right finger. So seeing the challenges reversing back and forth and seeing Nebraska and Purdue go head-on-head, really fighting to the points to 25 is going to be interesting to see how these players are going to find a way to close it out.
What a twist here in set number 1. Purdue thought momentarily they had won it. The point and the call is reversed, so now it is 23-24. Nebraska to serve with the chance to tie this up. Beeson to serve. System. There's Chacoin. What a point. Purdue takes set number 1.
This is historical for Purdue and Nebraska as well. So seeing how these young players are fighting their way up to the top is going to be an interesting set for the second one.
None other than the freshman phenom, Chloe Chacoin, getting it done for the Purdue Boilermakers. They had Nebraska just their 4th set loss of the season. Set number 2 coming up here on the Big Ten Network. Underway here at Holloway Gymnasium, the Purdue Boilermakers take set number 1 against 2nd-ranked Nebraska. Just the 4th team to take down Nebraska in a set all season long. The freshman Chloe Chacoin for the Boilermakers leading the way with 6 kills, hitting 600. Also as a team, this Nebraska group typically holds opponents. They're very stingy, best defense in the country to 106. And Purdue is hitting 324. You mentioned they aren't necessarily doing it in serve receive. What has been working for the Boilermakers?
Yeah, so you can see that Nebraska is usually very patient when it comes to their rallies, and Purdue is learning off of that. They're feeding off of the patience of ball, so being able to rally back and forth and find the right time to score is essential for Purdue to keep on the trend so far with them having such great hitting percentage.
Riley to serve. Hard swing, still in play though. Hudson touches it over, but somehow it's kept alive. Great dig. Chaboy kept it in play. Big swing from Hudson. Off the block. A little bit of confusion about what the call was, and the fans don't like it.
And a great rally, too, to get the second set going for both teams just waiting to be patient and being competitive overall.
Initially, this first point called for Nebraska, but you saw some of the Boilermakers indicating they thought there was a touch. Shaking her head there is Eva Hudson. Not happy with the call, but no challenge here. Riley to serve.
One thing about Eva Hudson is her competitiveness. I remember scouting her last season and how we had to be prepared for how spicy she was as a player and how no matter what, you never know what kind of player she's going to be that day. So I love to see her growth as a player and her competitiveness over this past season.
There before it hit the antenna, it did look like it hit off the hands of the Cornhuskers. And there is going to be service ace.
One thing that Dave has talked about with his serving and his game plan for that is to try to find a serve that's close to the sidelines between the players. So finding those seams that are very hard to hit and be successful at it.
Off-speed shot from Murray, still in play. What a dig.
And Becca Alex super pumped about that. Her intensity as a player is always fun to watch, even when it comes to her, what do you say, I guess relationship between her teammates and how she brings that intensity for all players on the team.
Service. On the slide, took a touch, it appeared, ends up being called out.
A little bit long by Raven Colvin. We talked about earlier this season with the coach that she's been working on the slide this season, and it's hard if the ball is off the net. So when you see the right timing for a set to set the slide, it's very essential to try to swing at it as best you can.
Colvin yet to find a kill tonight. Very quiet for her. That one falls out. Going to be a service error. 3-3 the score now. Interesting, Colvin. We talked about her in the Open, has been excellent this season, but hasn't quite found a rhythm. What does she need to do to get more involved in this attack? Because Coach Shondell mentioned the middles have to be involved for this team to be successful.
Middles sometimes, they don't always have to contribute. They sometimes have to be the communication factor, being in the front row, communicating with their outsides and their right sides, and as well as just everyone on the court overall to what they see and what they can do to create a better rotation and score off of those rotations. Because sometimes middle blockers are the leaders of the front row.
4-3 now, Nebraska lead. That one takes a touch, so it's going to be point to Purdue.
This is the time where they use their pins and they use Eva and Chacoin to their advantage whenever they're in the front row, no matter what spot on the court, to find ways to score, because creating that momentum for them is going to be essential for their team.
Hudson leading the charge now with 7 kills. Out of system, touched over by Beeson and successful.
Straight into the donut, what they say on volleyball, straight into the middle of the court where usually nobody is. It's tricky to get to that because everyone has their base and where they stand on the court for defense. So creating a chaos between that is really fun to see.
The donut, the campfire, whatever you want to call it, right? That little hole right in the middle of the court.
Exactly.
Beeson to serve. Chicoine. Oh, what a dig there by Skimmerhorn. That one tooled off the block.
Both pits right now for Purdue are really using the blockers on Nebraska to their advantage and really trusting their defense in the back row to cover them, to give them another chance to score.
Tooling the block was something Coach Shondell mentioned the team was going to have to do against this very physical Nebraska block. Service from Colvin. There's a hard cross-court shot, nicely done by Krause.
Very easy for her to do. As a junior, she has tons of experience with the Nebraska program, and her ability to get up very, very high and get on top of the ball and really find the seam, especially when a middle is serving. So you have the opportunity to test out the middle blocker in the back row.
Krause averaging more than 2 kills per set. There's another crafty little touch over the block, well executed by Myers.
And a one-legged slide in front. Those are really hard to read as defense because you don't know whether they're going to go with the momentum of their body or if they're going to cut it cross court to switch up the momentum of their body.
Tied up at 6 apiece. Short serve. Oh, big swing. On a system swing from Chicoine.
And a scrappy play as well. That was so exciting to see how the players were able to stay calm and use the torque of their body, and from their arm swing to their body to really use whatever they can to score as best they can. What a great shot overall to find the corner of the court.
A lot of credit to Skimmerhorn as well, somehow keeping that one in play. There's a little touch over by Jackson, but there is a lift call. So it's going to be point Purdue. They go up 8-6.
You can tell right now that the communication between the middle and the setter is essential to create mistakes that have happened in the past to help better for the points ahead.
Another short serve. Out of the back row is Beeson. Great dig, free ball over. That one sent long by Jackson. Point Purdue, they go up 9-6.
What a great pass, just sitting there waiting for the ball to get towards you and just being very patient. But sometimes with slides, it's hard to get on top of the ball with your body moving in different directions.
That one, no doubt about it, from Harper Murray.
Murray knows how to stop the play and stop the momentum for another team. She is a young player, but overall, she is essential for the team and their momentum to score. She is not afraid to challenge the block at all.
Murray, two-time big freshman of the week. Stepping up huge. Nebraska trailing by 2 here in set number 2. Nice receive by Skimmerhorn. Another crafty touch over the block by Myers is called out of bounds. Point Nebraska.
Myers is starting to trend a little bit with her team right now in the growth of her spot on the court and her trying to contribute as best she can. So sometimes when it comes to learning opportunities, it takes a little bit of mistakes to get a strong momentum.
Redshirt junior averaging 1.3 just under kills per set, has 4 in this match. Chicoine with the hard hit, she terminates.
Straight through both players in the defense as well, especially if you can see the serve to start it off. Both teams right now are trying to serve short, so if you have players that are able to give you a good ball after such chaos, it's impressive to see.
Chicoine at 5'10", you see those ups that she has. My goodness, she just springs off the floor.
The athleticism is insane to see. When it comes to shorter pins, they understand they have to have hops in order to be successful.
Nice dig by Skimmerhorn. That one off the block by Hudson. Kept in play. Murray, still alive though, what a rally. Another shot by Hudson.
Such a competitive play. You see that Purdue is super excited about this point and their trend of their momentum to be successful. Sometimes the ball doesn't have to be perfect. Just getting your arms up and doing whatever you can to help your players find a way to score and manage the game is awesome to see.
Junior DS, Allie Hornung, just somehow put her hands out and kept that one alive. This Purdue team scrapping for every ball.
A nice deep serve too. Definitely creating some conversation between Nebraska and hesitation on what you can do. With a top spin like that, Chacoin knows exactly where to go, and the power and the speed of a top spin is so impressive.
Chloe Chacoin with her first service ace of the match, and Purdue leads 12-8 here in set number 2.
Show the world what it means to be a Big Ten fan at Fanatics.com. The largest assortment of officially licensed Big Ten fan gear anywhere. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
Big Ten Today, weekdays at noon Eastern on the Big Ten Network.
All Big Ten, all morning, live from Minnesota. Big Ten Tailgate presented by Defender. Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern on the Big Ten Network.
So here's what you do. Guy gets a sack. You go. Sacked you very much.
What else?
How about sack of all trades?
Boom, sack-a-lacka.
Saccaroni and cheese.
I like saccaroni and cheese. Starving.
I'm too sexy for this shirt.
Whoa.
But you could say that.
I would say sacrilegious, but that would be sacrilegious.
Okay, you ready for this one? Sackety sack, don't sack back.
This was a really bad idea.
Sack of potatoes.
Ooh, how about suffering saccotash?
Like that one.
Doing an excellent job bringing in this young talent, and man, have they performed on this type of stage tonight.
And you notice that a lot of these girls are from the Midwest as well. So when you see players from these areas with tons of volleyball, you see that the volleyball sport is growing instead of just East Coast to West Coast volleyball. So it's nice to see young players that are growing the sport overall and bringing the sport back to their state.
Purdue now with a 5-point lead after that last attack error. However, Nebraska is going to challenge. They believe there was a touch there on that last ball that was called out. Once again, Coach John Cook not hesitating to throw that out there.
With a lot of these balls, it's impressive to see how they're trying to challenge the block and they're not afraid of it. So when you see a challenge and when you see these players trying to hit towards the block is essential for them to continue to just keep on the trend of let's challenge the block and the defense no matter what.
Freshman Harper Murray rising up. Is there a touch there? Raynell.
I don't think there is a touch.
The call has been reversed, though. That's the ruling. Nebraska gets the point back.
Very, very close. So it is a touch. Very, very close. When it comes to blockers and the little tiny touches for blocks, it is important to press no matter what to make sure that there is no touch.
Purdue insistent, hard hit by Hudson, gets the kill.
And a great recovery. With a challenge and a receive like that, you have to make sure that you are focused on scoring as best you can and as soon as you can so there is not a switch of momentum.
Eva Hudson with her 8th kill of this match. Short serve. Rodriguez keeps it in play. Shut down. Another chance here. The sharp shot attempt by Beeson.
Beeson does a great job with those sharp shots too. So she's doing whatever she can to hit those seams that a lot of players can't. And sometimes it just doesn't work. But she's going to keep on trying and trying again that we've seen in the past games this season.
Purdue with a 5-point lead here in set number 2. Hard serve. And there's a hard hit ball by Becca Alec. You saw she's fired up.
Intensity from her. She wants this match and she wants this game. She's going to do whatever she can to be available and to be up for her setter, hitting whatever seam that she can find and power through the ball.
Just Alec's 2nd kill on the match. She's another one who's been fairly quiet with the Cornhuskers, averaging 1.63 kills per set on the season. How do they get her more involved?
I think that it starts with the pass, of course, and the scrappiness that the Purdue is giving to Nebraska. It's hard to create that. So whatever she can do is to make it up by blocking as much as she can.
Big swing from Hudson.
She recognized that Becca was a little bit late to the block, but she found a way to find spots between the defense. If the block isn't there, the defense is still there. So her challenging any way that she can is important to do, and I'm impressed by how she's been doing it so far.
Hudson, an AVCA All-America Honorable Mention selection a season ago, All-Midwest Region and the Midwest Region Freshman of the Year, in addition to those Big Ten Freshman of the Year honors we mentioned. Also a first-team All-Big Ten selection, certainly accolades that are deserved. Out of the back row, Murray. Almost kept alive by the Boilermakers, but it will be point Nebraska.
With a back row shot like that, it's hard to read because you never know if it's going to go left or right. So you really have to just plant your body from around the block, and she's going to do whatever she can to be available to pass the ball.
Purdue now up 15-11 here in set number 2. Service from Rodriguez. Hard hit by Woolard, but she's denied.
And there's the defense that we were looking for Nebraska, keeping the percentage numbers low, and then building off of that is essential. Great in-sync movement by both blockers, pressing over the net and keeping their arm work nice and strong for any attacker that's in front of them.
That was just Nebraska's 3rd block of the match, and we're midway through set number 2. But they're right on cue. A big block once again.
A back-to-back block as well, recognizing that Raven Colvin is an essential part of the team for Purdue's roster. And if you could find her whenever she's available and whenever she's going to attack, take it away as soon as you can get it.
Freshman Andy Jackson getting the block that time around. Serve from Rodriguez. Back set and a nice put down there by Hudson.
An easy shot as well. Hudson knows that she can hit whatever side of the court that she's fed on.
Eva Hudson now in double digits in kills, hitting .350 on the match. Now we'll go back to serve. Oh, that one was really hard from Jackson.
A deep shot as well. Being up and being ready for a high ball like that, aiming deep shot. Eva Hudson is a little bit in the court, but if she backed up just a little bit, she'd be able to pass that straight up.
Hudson's 4th kill on the evening, hitting .286, but it's going to be a service error that leads to the side out for Purdue.
You see the momentum start to change when you get closer to the point of 25. So right now, it's important for the communication to be at an all-time high to recognize who are the players that are hitting the most and who are the defenders that are passing the most, to adjust from that.
Colvin serve. Hard put down by Murray.
Eva Hudson definitely made an adjustment from being a little bit deeper in the court, but now she's a little bit too far inside. So it's hard to see when you have different players in front of you and making adjustments off of that.
Lindsay Krause, rather, has been getting some good action in this match, averaging 2.18 kills per set. A Nebraska native as well. 4 kills now so far. That one will go long. So there is the side out. 18-15 the lead. Service errors. Nebraska has 7. Purdue has 2. What is the fine line between being aggressive from the service line and then needless or unforced errors?
Yeah, it's all about managing the game. When it comes to serving, you need to make sure that you have your serve and you have the players against you across the court. So recognizing what can I do to create a stop for a great pass, but what can I do to keep myself true to who I am as an athlete?
Murray with the kill brings Nebraska within 4 here in set number 2. Rather Purdue point, 19-15 lead. Touch over the block, this time by Murray. What a dig. Horning, big up. That one though, wasn't gonna get that one up.
That was a great shot by Murray. She shut that down. She recognizes this set is about to close, so we need to do whatever we can to shut down and use the power and athleticism that we have to hit where the players are not.
16-19. Nebraska now trailing by 3. Chicoine stuffed.
And a great block as well. We're noticing the trend right now with Nebraska and their synchronization to their blocks.
Riley and Alec getting over there on the pin.
Just overall using whatever they can to close the block with not only your hands but your body. So if you recognize great blockers, they can do whatever they can to manage while they're in the air.
Out of the back row, stuffed again. Alec fired up.
The momentum is coming back to Nebraska. This is when Purdue needs to create a stop for the trend and the momentum for Nebraska. And Nebraska continuing to fight and stop the players and the opponents of even Chicoine hitting across the net.
Coach Shondell going to call a timeout. Nebraska right there alongside Purdue. More second set action coming up.
Big Ten Network Saturday Night Volleyball. Number 2 Nebraska faces upset-minded Indiana. Then Penn State and Minnesota meet in a top 25 showdown. Saturday Night Volleyball, powered by Unleaded 88, only on the Big Ten Network.
Fox Sports and Jersey Mike's hit the road for the tailgate tour. Join us at the game for a chance to win a year's supply of Jersey Mike's subs. Download the My Mike's app and earn Shore points for free subs and more. And catch college football on Fox and FS1.
The Masked Singer. Season 10 kicked off with the most incredible reveal ever.
I am so starstruck right now.
It only gets bigger and better.
We got the trolls in the building. It's NFL night. Harry Potter night.
Oh my God!
There's still so much in store.
We've never seen that.
It's a can't-miss season. The Masked Singer. All new Wednesdays on Fox and watch anytime on Hulu.
Taking a look at the incoming freshman class, 5 of Prep Volleyball's top 10, according to their rankings, are playing in this match tonight. Chloe Chicoine, by the way, 8 kills. Harper Murray, 8 kills as well. 2 players performing very well. I mean, it doesn't get much better than the young talent on display in Holloway Gymnasium right now.
Not at all. I'd love to see these players that are coming off a high school of a program to college, especially Big Ten at that aspect. It's impressive to see their adjustment on the fly to learning a new program and contributing at that.
Now, trading off in the Freshman of the Week honors has been a trio of freshmen that we're watching in this game once again in Riley, Murray, and Chicoine.
And they are all leading Nebraska and Purdue at this point, too. So to see them and their commitment to their program is so impressive to see.
Or with the service. Chicoine off the block, gets the point.
She is using the block right now to her advantage. They are switching their momentum from using the block to hit to the outside to using the block on the inside, recognizing that the pin on the off blocker is not there, so why not try to challenge that?
Is it tougher to hit it off the hands on the inside, and what do you have to do with your body to make that happen the way she just did?
100%, because the blocker from the inside, you recognize that they're coming from that. So it's a lot easier for them to recover from that as well. From the outside, it's a little bit more tricky, but they always find a way.
Almost blocked there. However, Nebraska trying to keep it in play. It goes out. What a rally.
With almost Purdue. A great shot as well. With Murray just being all the way off the court and being able to hit that is so impressive overall.
Trying to keep that cross court in play. Very close. Now head coach John Cook calling a timeout for the Cornhuskers, going toe-to-toe with Purdue here in set number 2, 21-18 the score.
I learned to fly in a very...
So far this season, Raynell?
Yeah, so I am not a huge football, I guess, watcher, but I am really close to Coach Loxley. Him and I have built relationships over time, and seeing him transform a program into something great and them really understanding that the DMV is where a lot of athletes come from and them capitalizing it is amazing to see.
Chicoine with a nice dig a moment ago, gets the pass off the block, little joust. Still up for grabs, but it is touched over. Alex successful.
We love seeing a joust on the net with the ball always just being up in the air and really having to use your timing and your body and reading across the net, but also recognizing that you have players around you to be able to help you out. And seeing that become successful is amazing.
Nebraska now trailing by just 2. Riley to serve. row. Chacoin touches it over. Murray, oh, what a dig by Skimmerhorn. What a rally. Purdue sends the free ball, but it is outside the antenna. That's the call.
They were so athletic, Purdue, with their scrappiness and their athleticism. I'm so impressed by them just trying to manage the game as best they can. But Nebraska pulling through and scoring when they need to really create that tie with the match right now.
Nebraska trailing now by just one. A bit out of system, off the net there was Hudson. Big swing from Murray, goes cross court, in play. Time match here in set number 2.
A very hard shot as well. Really challenging not only the defense, but the line of shot and in the court is so impressive to see. And her just really powering through the ball.
Head coach Dave Shondell calling a timeout, trying to regroup his Purdue Boilermakers. However, Harper Murray has just been outstanding throughout this match. 9 kills so far for Nebraska.
She's really challenging not only the block, but like I said, the court and the seam and the lines of all aspects of the court and the dimensions of it. So to see her get on top of the ball and use her arm swing to get cross court while also being a righty is so awesome to see.
Now Purdue has had the lead throughout this set number 2, but the Cornhuskers are on a 3-0 scoring run. What is the message to this Boilermakers group, especially the young players, about how to maintain composure and close out this set?
Yes, the calmness of both sides of the court is really impressive to see, with them trying to not only be aggressive and score points, but to recognize that we need to find ways to close out this gap, but also create a larger gap for them to score. So to see them communicate with one another is essential for them to be successful.
Any player that you're looking to go to here in this big moment?
Of course, Murray. She is doing a great job, so why not keep feeding her and keep feeding the beast if it's working? So I'm really excited to see how they manage the game to keep feeding her the ball.
Another note we talked about in set number 1, how hot Purdue's hitting was, over 300, when Nebraska is typically holding opponents to 106. In this set, hitting just 65 are the Boilermakers. What's changed for the Cornhuskers defense?
It's definitely their coverage. So I don't know if we could tell, but overall, when it comes to Purdue hitting versus Nebraska hitting, the coverage and challenging the block is there. So overall, just keeping the ball alive is really showing the true colors of the percentage and hitting-wise between both the teams.
Cornhuskers have the number 1 defense in the country for good reason. Now they look to take set number 2 after trailing throughout. Without a system, swing off the block. Kept alive by Riley. Back in play, out of system again. Met with the block. Another great dig by Rodriguez. Another block. Hard swing by Murray. Change of pace. Out of the back row is Chacoin. Not able to keep that one alive. The Boilermakers almost scrambled again.
So close to the point of 25. They need to realize that this is the time to pull out all the cards in our deck and do whatever we can to score. And scrappiness for Purdue is essential for them, but Nebraska being patient and waiting to score is also very important.
Riley to serve, 4-0 scoring run for the Cornhuskers. Overpass, joust, falls on the Boilermakers side, point Nebraska.
With such great servers on Nebraska's side, they understand on which way to find both receivers, and with Becca being able to get up and challenge the setter, it's hard to joust against the setter because they know exactly where to find the ball and put the ball. So it's impressive to see a strong middle blocker in the front row.
2-point lead now for the Cornhuskers. Big swing from Hudson. Initial calls that it took a touch. Cornhuskers, some of them were shaking their heads. Nebraska is going to challenge the touch call. So potentially a tie set, but it is going to be a challenge.
See right here, both Nebraska blockers have great foundation, but just a little bit off for there to not to be a touch. With Becca pressing over, that timing is everything. So when you see an outside hitter that is hitting as high as they can, sometimes the hand movement of the blocker isn't as high as it was when the initial contact happened.
Hudson with 12 kills so far. Will she be credited with another one, depending on which way this call falls? And this is critical once again. We saw it in set number 1. A couple of late challenges, reversing points, totally changing momentum. This could be huge, depending on which way this goes.
This is huge for both players and both sides of the court. I'm interested to see how they're going to manage the game. I know right now the nerves, but also the calmness of, we got this. We're players. We know exactly what to do. Just get back to basics, but also follow our game plan. Follow what our opponents may or may not do. So a nice group meeting with the coaches and the players is essential for them to really close the set out.
In that huddle there, looks like Becca Alec, the sophomore middle blocker, having some words a little bit fiery, as you could see her giving some emotion off just in the body language. Third in the country, first in the Big Ten in blocks per set, and also a vocal leader for this Cornhuskers side as well.
Very close, but not necessarily there.
The decision is that the call is reversed. It's out of play, which once again, huge momentum shift here in this set. So now Nebraska has set point. Instead of Purdue bringing it within 1.
This right now for Purdue's mindset is simply just to get a good pass, to give an opportunity for all of their hitters to hit.
6-0 scoring run. But it's going to be a service error from Riley that earns the side out for Purdue, 22-24 now.
That really shows the relationship of a young and a mature versus a young and a learning team. So getting a serve right out of a challenge is important to get in the court and keep the play going.
Purdue with a chance to close the gap. Little back set down the line, Murray. Who just earned a big feat. They were able to advance to the Paris Olympics in 2024 recently. Now here's set number 3 coming up ahead. A little slide successful. What a put down there from Jackson. But there's going to be a discrepancy there on the call.
Right out the gate as well. So with a slide, why not feed the middle, especially when the ball is such a great pass? Let's feed the middle as best we can, establish the slide and establish who our main players are and keep it rolling.
Coach Shondell having a word with the officiating crew. It is going to be point Nebraska though.
I'm very interested to see right now with the serves of both sides of the team. So they've been serving pretty short, and to see them try to mix up shots with their serving is going to be interesting to see how they manage it all.
Chacoin out of the back row gets it off the block.
When you're hitting from the back row, I feel like just overall you have more vision of the court in comparison to if you're hitting on the net. You don't see as much visual of the court and the players in front of you, so being able to score in the back row is a huge advantage.
Overpass. Attempting to put it back was Colvin, still alive. Hard hit, but denied is Hudson.
An easy shutdown, a block that we are always expecting from our speedy blocks with Purdue. They understand that sometimes it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but as long as our handwork is perfect and lined up against our hitters, it will be successful.
Murray hitting that one right off Colvin's hand. That one's going to go out though, so point Nebraska. Raven Colvin coming off a season high 10 blocks against Maryland. Set a record at Maryland last season for the most blocks in a single game with 16. Starting to come up big at the net. There's a little miscue. Point Nebraska once again.
Right now the communication between the back row in serve receive is important to continue to talk about, especially to help the setter out as much as you can to help feed your hitters.
3-2 Cornhuskers lead. Back set, slide from Colvin. Big point. Once again, a discrepancy here on the call. She thought she had the point.
It looked pretty clean to me, but a touch from Murray on the pin. The antenna, to be exact.
4-2 lead here for Nebraska. There is going to be a challenge, though.
But overall, a great slide shot by Raven as well. Like I said earlier, she's been working on this all season to introduce that a lot more to their offense, and for her to be able to really use her body to turn it back into the court and score off of it with the cross shot as well is impressive to do.
Coach Shondell challenging a net violation on that last play. Did you see one?
I definitely did. Touching the antenna, Murray was probably trying to cover line, which is very accurate, but a little bit too close to the line.
So Nebraska with a 4-2 lead momentarily could possibly be reversed. We've seen it happen a couple times so far in this match. Both teams looking for some momentum here early in set number 3 after splitting sets 1 and 2. Nebraska starting to come along, now hitting 306 while Purdue's hitting 155.
So you see the numbers starting to change later in the game and starting to see trends with both Nebraska holding their players to a certain percentage and Purdue also trying to do the same. So seeing their defense and their blocking percentage is going to be interesting for the difference between the hitting percentage.
Call is reversed. It is a net violation. There's a block. There's some stuffing. Raven Colvin fired up once again.
Both of our middles on both sides of the net, they give so much energy overall with their celebrations, and it's well deserved when you're blocking so well across the net.
Nice quick set, kept alive after Alec touched it over. Deep shot, still in play. Choboy sends it forward, hard hit from Beeson, falls out.
Very, very close. One thing about Raven and her blocking lineup with the people in the front row is that sometimes the block doesn't have to go straight down. I've noticed that with a lot of her blocks this season, especially against Maryland, the blocks are going very, very deep into the court, which is hard to defend against and to recover from.
That time around, just a little bit too far off to the side, but awfully close. Big swing from Woolard. What a point.
Really getting
takes
on
the lead.
top of the ball as well. So impressive to see players that are able to line up against big players as well and really using the seams that you see at the very last minute.
5-4 lead here for Purdue. A little bit of an overpass, touchdown towards the corner. It does fall out, so it will be point Purdue.
Becca Alec right now having a little bit of frustration with her offensive game. She's usually a very big threat on the court with her intensity and her adversity for offense. So it'll just take a little bit of communication.
Hard hit from Beeson, nice dig. That one off the block as Colvin tried to send it over.
Back to back with our middle blockers. They are fighting against each other and they are jousting to do whatever they can to win the middle versus middle. So it's going to be very interesting to see the rest of this set and what they do for their blocking and their attacking as well.
How about the Purdue sophomore Eva Hudson, though, diving and getting that dig. Great defense. Rodriguez puts it in play. Big swing from Chacon.
Absolutely. Just finding ways to score and just do whatever she can to see that the blocker is a little bit late and she's going to use that advantage to see a seam, and Rodriguez is just a little bit late to that. But if you recognize that the players across the net are a little bit late, why not use that to our advantage with such speedy sets with Purdue?
Chacon and Hudson now both leading the way with 11 kills. Oh, nice dig. Good recovery by Rodriguez. Touch over the block by Beeson. Another touch over the block by Chacon. She's successful. Point Purdue.
Right over the block with such a mix-up. I love seeing when outside hitters are able to hit as hard as they can, but also challenge the defense in the back row as well, because you know if you see someone that is also able to mix up shots, you have to be ready for whatever shot they're going to give you.
Colvin to serve. Tough serve. That one a big put down. Krause successful.
With a very close gap between both Nebraska and Purdue, the mentality right now between both players is, yes, we both won 2 sets, and we need to figure out how to win this third to get a second set underneath our belt. So what are we going to do to even out the block and to set all of our hitters to make sure that defense never knows where it's going to go?
Krause quietly having a nice game, 5 kills, hitting 7-14 rather, an all Big Ten freshman selection a season ago. Beeson serve. Back set. Big swing from Woolard down the line.
Challenging the row as well. Hitting towards the libero is a very risky shot because you understand that they're the best passers on the court. So if you are comfortable and confident enough in your shot, why not hit towards the row?
Also very risky against a libero, that's Lexi Rodriguez, a 2-time AVCA All-American, 2-time All-Big Ten first-team selection, and the National Freshman of the Year in 2021. Not easy to throw her off her game. Oh, but there was a nice cut shot from Jackson.
A very easy shot as well. She's did that in the very first point of the set, so if it's going to keep working, let's keep on setting her, when especially the middle blocker is a little bit late to the block, so let's find a seam where it works.
9-7 the lead now for the Boilermakers. Set off the net, put over by Hudson. Out of the back row, big swing from Beeson, sent back over. But it does fall out of play, point Nebraska.
An intense shot. I don't know if you heard, but the girls on the court are right now trying to tell each other where to hit the ball. And if you see a shot, go for it. And really challenging the people and the players in front of you.
Choboy to serve. Nice serve. Out of system here are the Boilermakers. Out of the back row is Hudson. Rodriguez. That one off the block and out. Nice tool. Out of system, good response from the Cornhuskers. Everyone hugging freshman Bergen Riley.
Nebraska is super excited about that, especially when a row is able to set a pin. Rodriguez has worked so hard this season and the previous seasons to be confident and to be close with her pin hitters to feed them whenever they need to.
Oh, big put down by Chacoin, but what a dig by Beeson. That went off the block and out of play. Huge point for Nebraska.
Nebraska is fired up right now. Murray is doing whatever she can to score for her tribe. Beeson really sits into the ball and is patient and really using a very calmness in her body to get the ball straight up and using her mobility to go left and right and get the ball as high as she can for her setter.
Coach Cook mentioned, oh, there's a big put down from Myers.
An intense shot as well, seeing a middle that is able to hit the ball basically on the 10-foot line and back-to-back and showing her athleticism and height is so awesome and impressive to see.
Myers' 5th kill on the night, hitting .333. Was going to mention, though, that Beeson can play all 6 positions. That's what Coach Cook said is a big positive attribute, is the fact that she also can do the kinds of things that she just did defensively. Nice serve. On the slide, denied, kept in play. Rodriguez sends over the free ball. Big swing from Hudson. Hudson will try again. This time she tries to go over the block, but it's long.
Eva Hudson is fired up about that. Both players on both sides of the court are covering their hitters as best they can. You can see that Nebraska has a triple block, which is what they do sometimes, a very international style of play, but that is not going to stop Eva Hudson.
There's the touch, big point for Purdue, 11-10 the lead. Chacoin serve. On the slide, Jackson. Initially looked like Purdue almost kept it alive, but it's a double touch, so point for the Cornhuskers.
A very panic move when it comes to blockers in the front row and them trying to keep the ball alive. It's easy to kind of react and try to keep it alive because if it touches you and touches you again, it's not technically a double touch unless it's below your shoulders. So you just have to try whenever the ball is in front of you.
Riley to serve. Chacoin hits it off the hands, kill.
A very lucky shot as well. You can see Orr was ready to go inside the court to read the ball, but just a little bit too sharp and a touch off the block for Chacoin to score off of it.
1-point lead here for Purdue. Skimmerhorn, the short serve. Out of the back row is Beeson, big kill.
A great shot as well from the back row. One thing that she does well is really getting on top of the ball. Being in the back row, you have to make sure that you're hitting on top of the ball instead of through it, because then it could possibly go out of bounds.
Did an excellent job keeping that one in play. Beeson's 10th kill of the night. Little back set slide, but offline, punched over by Colvin. There's a little touch. The pancake just not quite successful. Murray gets the point.
Almost there. Murray does a great job of mixing up the shot like we've been talking about this entire night. She understands that sometimes the players aren't going to be there. So if I could find a spot where the players may or may not be, it's important to just test out where the players are going to be.
Cross-court shot. Rodriguez, great dig. Touch over the block by Colvin. Another one from Murray, somehow kept alive. Another tip. Now there's Beeson. Finally ends the rally. What a battle. Nebraska goes up 14-12 here in set number 3.
Such a fight between both teams right now to try to get to 15, and the battle between getting a run versus not getting a run and stopping a run. So I love to see the mentality of these athletes just trying to get a run and momentum as best they can.
A little offline, sent right back over by Alec.
What a great dump as well. It looked almost just like a basketball dunk to get it straight back down. If you're in the air, why not just get it straight down and show your athleticism of your hang time in the air?
Sophomore Becca Alex says, yeah, I don't think so. Just puts that one right back away. 15-12 lead for Nebraska.
Why do I choose to sleep numbers for my bed?
Up the numbers, 11 kills, hitting .409. What has she done so well?
Mara Beeson just overall has such a fast game, especially with her arm swing. She just understands that she's able to hit it as fast as she can, especially with power as well. So I'm impressed with her back row and her front row offense overall.
The Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week, named on September 11th, led the Huskers with 4 kills per set and a .354 hitting percentage in a couple of ranked matches a few weeks ago. Chacoin out of the back row gets it done.
Really testing out the back row as well. You could tell that the defense was trying to get a shot that's going to cut it off, but just a little bit too late and reading a little bit too wrong. But overall, they're going to make adjustments like they always do.
Graduate Student Center, Lauren Holter back to serve, Aurora, Colorado native, and a transfer from the University of Denver. Beeson, nice dig by Skimmerhorn. Off the block, Joe keeps it in play. Another hit by Beeson. That one touched towards the back of the court, well executed by Raven Colvin.
And Skimmerhorn is eating up all the balls giving to her. She's doing a great job of just sitting to where she needs to be and reading the offense overall. Beeson is really challenging, and that's a great job for her to do, but overall, Skimmerhorn is excellent right now with her defense.
Skimmerhorn second in the Big Ten in digs per set with 4.22. Coming into today, but there's a big put down by Alec, not getting there.
An easy throw as well. When you have the momentum as a middle and a setter, the relationship is just very fast, with Purdue realizing that, yes, Nebraska's offense for their middles is fast, so let's try to find an adjustment with that.
It's interesting, something both coaches touched on, 2 freshman setters going at it, is it can take some time, though, to build the chemistry and the timing, especially with middles.
It definitely does. 2 setters that are so young, they have an understanding in club that it's a little bit slower, and when you're in the Big Ten and just in college overall, the speed of the game is a lot faster. So finding a ways to not only speed up your game, but speed up the relationship and connection with your hitters.
Lindsay Krause once again making her presence felt. Her 6th kill of the night. Nebraska takes a 3-point lead. And there is the freshman setter, Bergen Riley. Off the net. Hard swing from Woolard. High Nice set for Beeson. She tools it off the block.
Challenging the block as well. She will do that the best. Nebraska does a great job of not being afraid of the block in front of them. Just really getting on top of the ball and hitting the outside hands of her opponents is so impressive to see.
Timeout called by Purdue head coach Dave Shondell after taking set number 1. They trail here in number 3, 18-14.
Big Ten Network Saturday Night Volleyball. Number 2 Nebraska faces upset-minded Indiana. Then Penn State and Minnesota meet in a top 25 showdown. Saturday Night Volleyball, powered by Unleaded 88, only on the Big Ten Network.
Let's go!
YouTube TV is the new home of NFL Sunday Ticket.
Oh my goodness!
Being a fan has never been easier. Watch every game, every Sunday, exclusively with NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV. Sign up for NFL Sunday Ticket now.
It's out there. It's in us. From every corner. In your backyard. In our home court. From every Big Ten school. In your hearts. In our homes. If you look for it, it's impossible not to see it. If you live for it, it's impossible not to love it. It's a big nation. It's the Big Ten Network. This is big.
The Nebraska Cornhuskers starting to shift the momentum here in set number 3. They have the 18-14 lead. The freshman setter Bergen Riley has dished out 35 assists so far. Now, she was the first freshman to start in her collegiate debut, and the only one, in fact, in program history, aside from her predecessor, Nicklin Hames. How difficult is it to come in as a freshman and run an offense, as you just mentioned, the speed of play that the collegiate game is played at?
Yeah, being a setter overall is a very difficult job to do. I don't think setters get enough, worship as they do enough. So I know that Riley right now is not afraid to push the ball far and using her ability to trust her handers to manage it. So hard work and her handwork with setting right now is really what exaggerates placing the ball to where she wants it.
Skimmerhorn receives it out of system, though. Put back down. Point Nebraska.
One thing about coming from a timeout for student athletes is getting back to the focus of what your game plan is, but also realizing that, yes, we have a chance to reamp of what we're going to do and reamp our game plan, but also a break for us to continue and close out the set with a strong way of doing so.
Hard hit from Hudson. Ends up out of bounds. Nebraska really starting to take it here in this third set. What's changed?
The momentum, of course, of Nebraska trying to find ways to coverage. Overall, their coverage is doing a great job of really challenging the block, not only into the block, but trusting their defense behind them to get the ball up and keep it alive as best they can.
Should point out of the back row, Riley with the dig, free ball over by Krause. Off the block, huge point for Nebraska.
Especially with Becca Alex, she's really stepping up right now as not only a young player, but her trying to bring that energy back up and back to their side, because that's what they deserve, is the energy that they need to win.
Alec now with 7 blocks. Huge one. She's had a couple of solos as well. What's allowed her to do what she's done as we take a look here?
Just being ready and being springy to realize that Raven Colvin in front of her is an essential player. So if you see the ball and you see Raven timed up against each other perfectly, then just go up. If you read it wrong, that's okay, because you have pins that are going to get the pins against them just in case. So being springy and reacting to the ball instead of reacting to overall the rally of the volleyball court is important to do.
As he talked about the momentum shifting, looking at the hitting numbers, that certainly tells the story. Nebraska hitting 347 on the match, 440 in set number 3. Meanwhile, Purdue started out very hot, hitting over 300 in set number 1. Now hitting 186 on the match. And we're just talking about the blocks Nebraska's been able to do. What adjustments does Purdue need to make to try to get some of that positive momentum and offensive efficiency back?
Purdue needs to find ways to set players that usually aren't getting set. So we understand that Eva, Hudson, and Chacoin are the ones that are go-to. Raven Colvin is also a go-to. So maybe mixing up their players possibly to create an unbalance for their balance right now with Purdue is going to be essential for them to score and to create their hitting percentage a little bit higher than it is right now.
The Boilermakers outsides dominating this match. 14 kills for Chacoin, 12 for Hudson. Chacoin hitting .440. Also has 3 digs to boot. Boilermakers going to have to battle back here to get back in set number 3. Nebraska here with a 7-point lead. Hard serve. Great pass though, and then Willard just tips it over. Another good pass off the block though. Beeson denied.
Just like what we talked about, to mix up their shots and mix up their offense, we had Willard coming into the middle of the court to be able to hit a shot that they're usually not going to. And then that gives them an opportunity to give Nebraska some junk that they're not used to and be able to set up a great block for them to score off of.
Hudson to serve. Once again, the Purdue block. Willard fired up.
A ball shut straight down. What a powerful move by Purdue and Nebraska as well to really compete against one another and test each other's athleticism out for the best ball that they can give one another.
The freshman outside, Kenna Willard, with the solo block. Big effort there. Quick set, little punch over by Alec. Pancake. It is called, though, on the ground, so it will be a point for the Cornhuskers.
It's very tricky for not only a ref to see the ball if it's up or not, but to see if they're able to get the ball. Sometimes it's not perfect for a pancake, but sometimes it's hard to read. So definitely kudos to the refs for doing whatever they can to read a better game for volleyball.
Rodriguez with a short serve. Puts it out wide. Chacoin denied, though. Alec fired up.
And a ball right back. Nebraska and Purdue are just block monsters right now. They're reading the setter and they're reading the hitters able to shut it down. Earlier in this match, you noticed that both pins, both outsides and right sides, were scoring all day. So they finally were able to manage a better defensive balance overall.
Almost an overpass there, but somehow Colvin saves the play. Block party has certainly begun. Maybe a little bit late, took some time to get into it, but absolutely both teams' defenses coming up big at the net. Purdue gets the point, so now Raven Colvin, the leader on this team in service aces, will serve. Nice dig by Rodriguez. Off the block. Willard denied. Huge stuffing there. Jackson and Krause.
When you have a middle blocker that is giving a bailout, and what I mean by that, a bailout is when the setter takes the ball and another player has to set the pins, is a lot easier to read off of because a setter, they are meant to be setting. They are the setter, so it's a lot easier to read when a non-setter is setting.
Set point now for Nebraska. That one does go long. It took a touch though, so that is going to be a point Purdue. They stay alive.
Chacoin really using her athleticism to get on top of the ball and hit the hands of Nebraska's blockers. That's so impressive to see.
Set point number 2 here for the Cornhuskers, looking for the side out. A little bit out of system. Krause looks to put it down, gets it done, and Nebraska takes set number 3.
Right now, Purdue's mentality is to get back to their game plan, and Nebraska to overall just to close this match out and continue to do what they did in these past 2 sets.
Purdue comes up with a huge upset in set number 1, but the Cornhuskers respond in sets 2 and 3. 4 coming up in just a moment. Nebraska Cornhuskers are going for their 5th consecutive win over a top 25 ranked opponent for the first time in program history. Right now in the Big Ten, there are 6 schools ranked in the top 25. They had a couple of non-conference contests against top 25 opponents as well. 21st ranked Kentucky and 5th ranked Stanford, 2 of those. The serve and pass game really good. The defense really good for Nebraska. Does this team have any weaknesses right now?
That's a great question. I'm not sure if they do. Of course, The only disadvantage is that they're a young team, but they are really showing their maturity on the court. So if they can continue that for the rest of the season, they have a great spot to be in at the end of it. So I'm overall just impressed by how they're handling such pressure with the name of Nebraska on their jersey.
Now, one thing Coach John Cook mentioned is that he doesn't really care about the rankings at this point in the season. He said to us, yeah, we're off to a good start, but we were ranked first at one point last year. It doesn't matter if you don't perform come the postseason. How can this time help prepare this team for what they want to do in making a run in the NCAAs?
Especially with the youngness of their, setters. That's I guess, really a focus for them. So, of course, the connection between setters and hitters are a big thing. Lexi Rodriguez is doing a great job of just doing what she can in the back row. So, overall, just the connection between setters and hitters is what they can do to improve their game so far.
Off the block, kept alive. Little back set on the slide is Jackson. Running it down there is Skimmerhorn, and it's a free ball over. Big swing from Murray. But it does go out of play. Point Purdue.
A little far. Murray is trying to hit that amazing shot that Beeson does with the cross court and into the seam and into the court. So we're going to see if she can improve on that shot this set.
Skimmerhorn to serve. Oh, what a response there from Choboy. Sneaky little move. Still alive. Free ball over by Jackson. Back set slide from Colvin. Big point for Purdue.
Great job with the momentum right now that both Nebraska and Purdue are trying to gain. With this fourth set, it's essential for them to find ways and find spots they're usually not hitting this entire match.
Purdue now with a 2-point lead here in set number 4. Choboy receives. There's a slide from Jackson. Almost kept alive, but point Nebraska.
And challenging the middle of the court as well. You usually see a lot of players that are trying to hit the corners of the court, but instead trying to hit the middle of the court. That means you're getting on top of the ball and you're getting over the block to be able to hit right into the middle of the court. It's so impressive to see.
Jackson, so efficient too, leads the nation in attack percentage with a 504 coming into this match. Right now she's hitting .429. Tough serve, and it's going to be an ace.
With Kennedy Orr coming in as a serving specialist, you love to see when aces really come in handy and all the work that you put into practice to mix up the shots for the passers in serve receive. So we love to see an ace from every single team out there.
Orr's first ace of the match, second on the season. That one just touched right back over. Riley was there, in addition to Alec.
A little bit of a misconnect, but with Nebraska being able to just handle the ball, an easy set that was over in the net, just realizing that if the ball is right here, let's put it right back down just to create a much easier job for us.
Or to serve. That one is called out of play, so service error. It's a side out for Purdue. All tied up at 3 apiece here in set number 4.
Overall, I'm interested to see this set is how their middles are going to continue contribute for their team so far. So I guess a good pass and overall a good defense to help get a good touch off the block is going to be essential for them to create more momentum towards their middles.
Poulter with a service error there, so it goes right back to Nebraska. She hit that one a little bit long. The freshman Riley now to serve. Almost an ace. Kept in play. Big kill by Hudson.
A great shot. Overall, Hudson, she always has the ability to hit as hard as she can. Her momentum of just hitting as an outside, it's like a whip. Her arm is able to move as fast as she can and just opening up her body to get on top of the ball and making it impossible to block against.
That one off the block but out of play. Colvin almost had it.
I love seeing a balance of a feistiness between both middles. Both Becca and Raven are doing a great job of just keeping that aggression up there. Just seeing the feistiness between the two is so fun to watch.
And a couple of great points, jousts, a lot of action at the net here as this match has gone on. Out of system here, Chacoin trying to touch it over the block, sent back over. Off the block that time, nice kill from the right side.
Nebraska's hang time is incredible, and for Purdue to understand that we have big blockers in front of us. So let's try to use the momentum of the speed of our own game to score against that.
All tied up here in set number 4. The tip from Beeson successful.
A little bit of a miscommunication on Purdue's side, especially when you're coming from a serve. You have to understand who's going to get the first ball, who's going to get the second, and Beeson understands that having a middle blocker serve and using that to her advantage is essential.
If you're tuning in looking for the Penn State at Illinois matchup, which will be coming up here on Big Ten Network, it is available right now on the Fox Sports app, so you can head over to watch that matchup. While this one wraps up, second-ranked Nebraska trying to come out on top against 17th-ranked Purdue. But this Boilermaker team has played really well, and there is a response. Point Purdue. Good put down by Myers.
Myers has really stepped up this match in not only her attempts, but just her scoring with a misconnect and a really odd ball overall for hitting a little bit farther away, and just being so tall, just finding a way to score is really important for middle blockers.
Back set off the block, Beeson. Scramble, almost kept alive, point Nebraska.
The beginning of this set is very interesting to see how both players in both sides of the court are trying to find a momentum and just realizing that it's late in the game. This is when fatigue starts to come in and scrappiness starts to show. So managing the scrap and managing your game and your game plan is important to do.
Poulter laying out, trying to scrap for it. They just weren't able to keep it alive. On the line there was Beeson as she went to serve, so it is going to be point Purdue. Tied up here in set number 4, 7 apiece. Chacoin to serve. Received by Rodriguez. Out of the back row is Beeson, but denied. Big response for Purdue. Lourdes Myers has been excellent.
With 2 blockers getting up and seeing that Beeson in the back row is an essential hitter, to get up and read the ball and have a strong base of your foundation for your block is important to shut down anybody in the back row.
Myers put back the overpass. Now it's a little bit of a miscommunication. Out of system. Chacoin out of the back row. Hard hit off the block by Krause, kept in play. Krause will try again. This time it's a tip, sent back over. There is a hard hit ball by Jackson, still kept alive. Hudson punched over again. What a rally. Hudson tries again. Still alive. Out of the back row is Murray. Finally puts it away. What a point.
An exhausting shot as well. Just the relief of all of the players after that point. They realize that we are doing the best we can to mix up all the shots that we've already had this match. So let's just keep on trying new things and really build that relationship between all of the players on the court.
Fantastic rally there. Murray with her 13th kill on the night. Choboy to serve. Sends that one long. Service error leads to point Purdue. They take a 1-point lead. Lainey Choboy, the freshman out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Raleigh, rather. Won gold with the U.S. Girls U19 team at the 2022 Pan American Cup, along with a number of other players in action here. That one falls. What a serve from Skimmerhorn.
Both sides right now in their serves are really showing the mentality of how important it is to serve and to get the match going. The first point and the first serve and the first overall touch of the game is really going to show how the set and how the point is going to go.
Jackson terminates on that last point. Nebraska with the side out.
She is so high. above the net. It is so impressive to see her take advantage of that as well.
Jackson with her 9th kill. Or to serve. Backstab on the slide was Colvin. Blocked.
Almost there. Raven is getting her momentum, but if you have great blockers across the net, it's hard to do something and get a rhythm of something that you're usually not really used to. So Nebraska is taking full advantage of that.
All tied up at 10 apiece. Or service again, goes short. Little tip by Hudson. Almost dug out. Choboy made the effort, but point Purdue.
A crazy ball at that. When you have a tip, you really have to stay calm and really get the ball as high as you can so the setter can read off of it and react.
Choboy named the best receiver at that Pan American Cup, by the way. A number of these players in this game have international experience, playing with the U19s, U21s for the U.S. Quick set. Alec gets it done.
Feeding the middles as well. When the ball is that high, you never really know where the ball is going to go. So for a middle to take full advantage of that and realize that sometimes the pins aren't going to help the middle blocker. So hitting towards seams and hitting corners and hitting cross shots is really important to do as a middle blocker.
Riley puts it in play. Just a little change of speed, off-speed shot there. Big swing from Murray. Gets the point for Nebraska.
Murray is challenging the back row, really using her speed and her power to hit towards all of the possible shots that she can hit.
Nebraska now taking the 1-point lead here in set number 4. They want to finish off this match. They got the momentum heading into the set after taking 2 and 3. Hitting numbers have been solid after faltering a little bit in that first set, hitting .336 now on the match, .368 here in set number 4. Riley to serve. Hudson over the block. Nice dig by Rodriguez, but the overpass sent back over. Back set, big swing from Murray. My goodness.
What a great shot as well, recognizing that Raven, she is just impressive as a blocker, but sometimes if you really use the lower seam, using their forearm instead of using their hands is a lot easier to manage against than to score against.
Murray with 15 kills now to lead the Cornhuskers. That one a big point from Colvin.
To really get the momentum back to Purdue, it's right now a fight head-on-head and who can get to 15 first, just point after point. So to see the consistency between both players and both sides of the court, being able to keep the management and the runs very, very short between both sides.
Rodriguez gets there. Big swing from Beeson, but it does go out of play.
When the ball is inside like that for Beeson, it's important to realize that you cannot hit too sharp and too cross because then the ball is going to end up out of bounds like it did. So hopefully the communication between the back row can show that, you know, you can hit a little bit more inside and challenge the block a little bit more.
Choboy setting up Beeson. That time she's successful, point Nebraska.
And she made adjustments right on the fly like we talked about. So it's impressive to see players like this that are able to make adjustments on the fly mid-match.
Beeson, an AVCA All-Region and All-SEC selection at Florida. You'd have to think that experience that she brings in allows her to make some of those adjustments on the fly.
Yes, 2 different types of programs colliding together just shows the diversity of what a program can be and the success from it.
Touched over by Colvin, finds a way to get it over the block.
A very funny ball when it comes to middles and being a little bit off time, but also like a little bit hang in the air. So when you see a ball that's just kind of thrown down, it's hard to read off of overall.
Back to serve here is Colvin. Received by Rodriguez off the block as Krause attempted to kill. Nice dig, but it does go into the stands.
Becca did a great job of really using the momentum to her body to hit towards the one. So it's impressive to see that she's recognizing where the ball is.
How about the freshman Harper Murray racking up 15 kills, 9 digs, doing it both ways. Nebraska looking to close this one out in set 4. We're going to see Volleyball Day in America that was earned by Nebraska. This a sellout crowd and a sellout season for Purdue. Just awesome to see the momentum that not just women's sports but women's volleyball is starting to carry.
Yes, usually we see a lot of fan base and a lot of media for professional sports, but to see college athletics and to see women's college athletics with such growth in such a fast amount of time since Title IX, it's impressive and amazing to see how history is growing.
The overpass put back down on the floor, though slow to get up is Jackson. Looks like she is okay. She's smiling. Good news, but an awkward fall there.
A little awkward. As a middle, we are still learning our body. We are still, understanding where the net is and where the ball may or may not go. A little kick to the net, but it's just like practice. This happens all the time. Something fun, something goofy, and you just wipe it off and go to the next point in the next rally.
Jackson with 10 kills on the night, hitting .444, 6 blocks as well. Nebraska now with a 3-point lead, closing in on set number 4. Tough serve, out of system, but that's a great hit by Myers.
Myers is stepping up this match, and I love to see how she's really contributing and just overall hitting not only in the slides, but also in the front as well, connecting with her setter and hitting really, really tough shots against a really, really good team.
Purdue with the side out. Quick set. Dug back out. Second ball not dug out, though. Jackson puts it down.
An insane save by Skimmerhorn, but not only is it over the net, but when you see some ball that's going to go over the net, you have to hit the ball because you have to take control of the rally right then and there.
18-15 lead now. Out of the back row is Hudson. Takes the touch and takes the point.
Tooling the block, and what I mean by that with tooling, I've been saying it this entire match, is using the hands across the net to score off of it. So using hands, fingers, forearms to, I guess, create a different momentum and a different off blocker so it's harder for the defense to read.
All about angles with the tool as well. Krause. Oh, what a dig there. Skimmerhorn keeps coming up big.
We just saw another replay of Skimmerhorn having an amazing save in our middle blocker, shooting it straight back down. So this is a very, very consistent team on both sides of the net.
Nebraska now with a 3-point lead within 6 points of closing out this match. Back to serve is Choboy. Service error, point Purdue.
With a 2-point difference as well. So to get to 21st is going to be interesting to see how Nebraska is going to do that and how Purdue is going to make a stop with that.
Skimmerhorn back to serve, couple of big digs. Choboy, the receive, slide, but touched over by Jackson. Big swing from Hudson. Rodriguez gets the dig. Big swing by Murray, set right back at her.
Raven Coleman understands that this is the time to create a stop, so we are not going to lose any point of the match. Reading that Murray is the player to go to and creating a shuffle that's a lot faster than a traditional swing block is going to bring her a lot of success.
Nebraska head coach John Cook calling a timeout, trying to rally the troops here late in set number 4, 19-18. It's volleyball live on Big Ten Plus. When the Boilermakers continue the homestand against Northwestern, there's no plus like home. Download Big Ten Plus and subscribe today. First, though, the Boilermakers are trying to stay alive here in set number 4 as they face second-ranked Nebraska. They came out really strong, made a statement in set number 1. The Cornhuskers took sets 2 and 3. Hitting a little bit better in this set is Purdue, 333. What do they need to do to try to overtake Nebraska here down the stretch?
So you can tell that the momentum is switching back and forth the entire match. And with Purdue crawling their way back up this set, they just need to stay consistent on what they're doing, and it'll find them success for this set and hopefully the fifth.
On the slide is Jackson. It does go out off the antenna, point for Purdue. Tied up at 19 apiece here in set number 4.
Definitely some nerves here for both sides of the court to really close the set right now.
Riley just dumps it over. That one off the block by Hudson, but that one will go down. Huge point for the Boilermakers.
An aggressive move as well. When you see the ball is on your way up, instead of having to slow the momentum down to set a hitter, in your front row, might as well just dump it down and take the point yourself.
Skimmerhorn to serve again. 3-0 scoring run for Purdue. Big swing from Murray. Ends up going out of play. Point Boilermakers.
So at this point of the match, this is the time where you have to let your opponents make the mistakes. And you also need to stay consistent as best you can. So not being hesitant about the points that you score, but also being more manageable for doing whatever you can to create a better success for the match.
After that last point, a 5-0 scoring run rather for Purdue. However, head coach John Cook for Nebraska going to challenge that last call, challenging net.
I don't think I've seen any net. Of course, like if we're not paying close attention to the net and we're paying close attention to the players, then of course we have to rely on the people on the bench and the refs to focus on things like that. So they may or may not show a net violation.
Once again, a challenge that could lead to a big swing in momentum. So we take another look at this one.
The blockers were very close to the net because they were pressing over, but I don't see any movement, and that's usually a very clear tell of if there was a touch or not. There is some movement with Raven's hair, but hair does not count.
Call is confirmed based on the video review. So big opportunity here for Purdue late in set number 4. 5-0 scoring run. Can they keep it going? Short serve. Choboy diving. Out of system. Murray sends it over. Big swing from Hudson. Point Purdue takes the touch.
Purdue is excited about this, and Nebraska is obviously very upset because it did seem out, but then also for Purdue's perspective, it did seem like a touch. Definitely a touch on Eva Hudson and a very challenging shot to hit.
Short serve, Choboy receives again. Out of the back row is Beeson, tips it over. Hudson takes a touch. Big point for the Boilermakers. They are still alive here in set number 4.
And they are fighting as well. The nerves and the excitement in the gym right now must be at an all-time high for them to bring it in and use the environment to their advantage for a home court.
It is a block party, the energy through the roof. Nebraska time. Energy through the roof here on the Purdue University campus. The block party is what the student section is known, and they are bringing it as the Boilermakers look to force a 5th set. And this has been an impressive run for this volleyball program. They were sold out, the student section, in 40 minutes this season. It's a season-long sellout as well. Not a single ticket available at this point, as you see the gymnasium absolutely packed. How big is the environment playing a factor in this match right now?
Yes, I remember being in Purdue's gym, and one thing about the student section is they will find where you're from, your name, your parents' name, absolutely everything about who you are. So they know how to get in your head in a very goofy way, of course. But the student section has a huge say on home environment.
Huge block for the Boilermakers. Colvin fired up. It's a set point coming on an 8-0 run for Purdue.
Purdue is feeding off of one another and the intensity of that they can win this set, and they are doing so right now with the stops with their blocks.
1 point away from sending this to a 5th, 17th ranked Purdue looking to upset 2nd ranked Nebraska. Another short serve. Out of the back row is Beeson reaching for it. Nice dig by Skimmerhorn. Still in play. Murray sends it over. Out of the back row is Hudson. Hudson will try again off the block. Rodriguez is there. Off the block again, still alive. Murray trying to finish off the point. She doesn't. Ends up being called out of play. Purdue takes set number 4.
A very intense play at that. Both sides of the court want that point, and they want to keep fighting no matter what.
Nebraska head coach John Cook going to challenge the touch call, which determined this 4th set.
Definitely a touch there. But overall, just a great shot. With high hands as well, with the intensity of this match, the set point, excuse me.
So there's Murray fired up. She thought she got it.
The ball did look up, but if a ref doesn't call down, then it's very hard for a player to determine that as well.
Rodriguez laying out for the pancake there, but this call is reversed. It did take a touch off Purdue. That's the final call as Harper Murray gets the kill. Now Purdue's head coach Dave Shondell is going to challenge as well, initially going back to earlier in the point when he thought the ball dropped as Rodriguez was laying out for the pancake.
And Raven did also celebrate very hard, so she thought that that ball was down as well. It's very close, especially from this angle, and Rodriguez being able to be everywhere on the court. It's hard to tell from this perspective and this point of view if the ball was down.
A stunning turn of events here late in set number 4. The call initially was point Purdue. Nebraska head coach John Cook challenges it. The call overturned. Now the challenge on this play earlier in the point made by Shondell.
It does look down. Rodriguez's hand was not entirely under the ball and was touched almost a half a second after the ball was on the ground. But overall, a great play and a great hustle play by Rodriguez.
Rodriguez, the 2-time All-American, just inches away from making that play. Waiting here now on the ruling. Coach Shondell making the challenge. If he's successful, Purdue will take set number 4 and force a set number 5 against Nebraska.
You can see Raven is underneath the net, also looking to see if the ball was also on the ground.
Awfully close. Big decision to come here.
Right now, the energy and the environment on the gym is definitely, tenses are high.
Holloway Gymnasium, very, very tense. It is going to be called that it hit the ground, point Purdue, and the Boilermakers take set number 4. A pair of sets off of Nebraska, a team that had won 33 of their first 36 this season. Set number 5 is coming up in just a bit. What a battle from the Boilermakers. What a match underway in Holloway Gymnasium. Purdue takes set number 1. Nebraska responds in 2 and 3. And then the Boilermakers take set 4, forcing a 5th set for the first time for Nebraska this season. They have not had a 5-setter all season long. They've only lost a total of 3 sets coming into this match. Now they've lost 2 to Purdue. A lot of credit to the Boilermakers. Also, this Nebraska team hitting over 300 on the season. In set number 4, they were hitting just under 200. What has Purdue been doing that's been so disruptive?
Overall, Nebraska is being scouted by, intensely by a lot of these players. And for Purdue to read a lot of their hitters right now and reading that they have a very well-balanced offensive game. So for Purdue to be able to pass every single ball that they can, to cover every single ball that they can, and just overall be scrappy and to keep Nebraska on their feet is bringing them a lot of success for this match.
Talk about resilience from this Boilermakers team, too. They came back after being down in set number 4, went in on a 9-0 scoring run to finish off the match, and then a crazy ending in that last point with a pair of challenges. But man, this group showing what they're made of and the character from this young Boilermakers team. Tony serve. Off the net. Showboy receives it out of system. Murray. Hudson. Sent back over. Hudson will try again. Gets it off the block. Point Purdue.
A great ball straight into the 5th set. This is a time where your nerves are high and you're trying to get a momentum and a good run in the beginning because you only have 15 points this set. And being able to really challenge not only the block but the net as well to hit a really, really aggressive shot.
Hudson with 18 kills, hitting .224. Hard serve. Kept in play by Alec. Free ball over. A little bit of a miscue on the set, but then the Cornhuskers not able to keep it alive.
This all came from an insanely great serve by Chacoin. When you have a ball that really sets the tone for the rally and to be able to get a free ball back, you have the opportunity to hit whatever ball you have and you have the momentum in your hands in that moment.
Chacoin to serve again. Showboy receives it. Big swing from Murray, and she gets it.
We are not surprised by a ball like this. Seeing Murray being able to just continuously hit the same aggressive balls all the time throughout the match is just hard to stop overall. So to see Purdue possibly make an adjustment, this match is going to be very, very impressive and essential for them.
Hudson. Showboy. And the pin, successful as Beeson.
A messy ball as well for Beeson to just hit the ball like a ping pong ball on both of the blockers' hands is impressive to see. Just overall using the blockers to their advantage and just both young players and young blockers overall. Hitting the sides of their hands is not only hard to block but hard to hit as well.
Received by Skimmerhorn from the back row, a little off speed. Trying to put it down is Alec, kept alive. Hudson, off the block. Nice dig by Rodriguez. Little touch over the block by Beeson, and it does fall. Point Nebraska.
One thing about Nebraska is they are going to be very, very patient about when they're going to score the point. Versus Purdue, they are filled with scrappiness and speed. So see the two types of players against each other and see what is going to manage the best is going to determine the fate of this match.
Riley to serve. Certainly interesting to see the contrasting styles at play. Oh, just a little miss hit there from Myers. Point Nebraska.
A little bit of a disconnect right there between a setter and a hitter, but with Myers being so young and her being fed this entire match, it's important to keep the communication high and make sure that you have a good relationship with your setter to be successful for such a short amount of time this 5th set.
Riley to serve. Certainly you'd have to think fatigue could be a factor at this point as well. Out of the back row, Chacoin gets it done. Some head shaking from the Cornhuskers.
But no fatigue from Chacoin at all. You did mention fatigue with these athletes being in the 5th set. This is obviously a first 5th setter for Nebraska. So to see their adversity this match and to see how they're going to keep that momentum and keep the rallying super high is going to be interesting.
Some of those Cornhuskers thought it might have been out, but Chacoin lands it right on the line. Received by Beeson. Hit by Murray. Gets the kill.
Straight over the top 2 into the middle of the court, reaching over Purdue's block and past their defensive play is so impressive to see.
Murray now back to serve. 5-3 lead for the Cornhuskers. Their first 5th set match of the season. Will show what this young group is made of. Murray with 17 kills on the night. Hudson, nice dig by Riley, but not able to collect it and get it over. Point Purdue.
Right now, the battle to get the first to 10 is interesting to see with the maturity of both these young teams to see who is going to step up this set to create a better opportunity for them to score.
When you talk about the first 10, the first 15, what does that mean and why is that so important?
Yeah, so those are basically obstacles when it comes to sets and trying to get the first to a obstacle, a first to a marking of a closer chance to get to the finishing set point.
Beeson able to tool it off the block. Nebraska takes the 2-point lead.
Beeson is fired up right now. With her experience in her being a transfer, she can definitely bring some intensity from different programs to also blend in with Nebraska's intensity as well.
Rodriguez to serve now. Short serve, diving is Skimmerhorn. Free ball over. In system here, big swing from Krause, but kept alive. Out of the back row, Chacoin, but she is denied.
This all starts from just a serve, with Lexi Rodriguez serving a short serve into creating some chaos for them to end up having to set Chacoin, who is one of their main hitters. So let's get the ball to where we want our hitters to go and block that as doing so.
Jackson there for the block for the Cornhuskers. Another short serve. Skimmerhorn has it. Hit off the block, kept alive by Chacoin. Big swing, but denied once again. Jackson ready for it.
Nebraska is shutting it down. They are finally getting the groove of the hitters hitting certain kinds of shots and certain kinds of angles and really shutting down the seams that were being doing so this entire match.
This is going to be hell on earth.
8-4 lead so far in set number 5, and they are hitting .667. What has been working right now?
Of course, defense from Lexi Rodriguez. She's keeping the ball alive. Both bros on both sides are really doing whatever they can to keep the ball alive and get the ball straight to their setter to make quick actions and quick points.
That time it's a point off the kill by Eva Hudson.
Eva Hudson really knows how to get up there, and when you see a block that's a little bit late, using a block that is on their way up instead of on their way down is essential for her to score.
Hudson with 19 kills now on the match. Quick to the middle, but denied. Right there waiting was Colvin.
A block party with Nebraska and Purdue, especially a single block at that. Both middles right now are battling against each other to keep their hitting percentage low and their blocks high.
Colvin with 7 kills, 7 blocks now in the match. Hudson puts it in play. Trying to put it down, there was Krause. Gets it done.
Krause has always impressed me because she just comes out of nowhere with her offense. She understands that sometimes I don't have to be the loudest one on the court. I can be the loudest one on the court with my hitting percentage and my skill set to be able to be an offensive threat.
Krause mentioned it, quietly having a nice night, 8 kills. Quick to the middle, Colvin, nice dig though. There's a touch over by Chacoin. She gets the point. Purdue creeping closer.
With the momentum of Beeson trying to recognize that there is a tip coming, but when you see a tip that is coming that happens to be a throw, it's a little bit deeper than you expected. So overall, a throw and a tip, and recognizing that at the very last second is very difficult to read.
Chicoine now 17 kills, hitting .382. The #1 overall recruit in her class, adjusting quite nicely to the collegiate game. On the slide there was Jackson, but denied.
We're seeing the slide here with her being able to go straight up and down and really just not only finish her ball to the zone 3, but just to be consistent in her spot and next to her pin, blocking with her.
Myers with the block. Krause kept in play. Free ball. Touch over. The dump by Riley earns the point. The freshman Bergen Riley able to salvage the point after that one was tight to the net.
Very, very tight. And Raven has recognized that. She tried to move towards the ball, but it just happened to be a little bit over her head.
Chicoine off speed. Nice dig by Choboy. Trying to scramble to play. The hustle was there from Hudson, but ball goes out of bounds.
This is the time to hustle. This is the time in the 5th set to give it absolutely your all, because there is nothing to lose at this point.
Purdue calling the timeout. Coach Shondell surely happy with the team's effort, but they got to figure out how to earn a couple points here.
I completely agree. I think that right now, just the communication and just to give each other an easier ball with the fatigue, and right now to just find each other a better chance to score and a better chance to win the set.
17th ranked Purdue looking for their first AVCA top 2 win since November 12th of 2011. This is the first top 5 opponent they've faced this year, but they defeated 2nd ranked Nebraska 3-0 in that matchup, coincidentally facing the Cornhuskers again tonight. Now they trail by 3. What does Purdue need to do to get a couple points back and to try to shift the momentum here?
Yeah, to shift the momentum to not only tie it up, but to find ways to keep the ball a lot more controlled, a lot more calm. So when you see those scramble plays, it's actually a lot harder for your team to read off of you. When you're gassed like that and fatigued, it's hard for you to communicate. So getting a more calm ball, recognizing that we need to be as calm as possible, managing the game a lot better will create a better chance for them to tie the points up.
As a young player, how challenging is it to manage the emotions throughout a match like this? It's not just the physical fatigue, but also mentally to stay locked in.
Yes, mentally is a big aspect. You feel like you're so in your head because you don't know how to, I guess, to be vocal, to not step on any toes, to also be a leader within your age group, but also being a learner from the more mature players on the team. So overall, just learning what kind of player you are and communicating with your coach about that is really important.
Harper Murray with 17 kills. Merritt Beeson leading the way for Nebraska with 19, hitting .368. Choboy back to serve. Nebraska looking to close out set number 5. But the block party right there doing everything they can as well. Quick set, touch over by Myers. What a dig. Rodriguez won't let anything drop. But there's the put down. Myers is not this time.
Yes, I love seeing a middle blocker that is contributing, that has learned from her, I guess, similarities and also mistakes in the past, but also a great pancake as well to keep the ball alive and just continue to fight the seams and the defense across the net no matter what.
Rodriguez couldn't get to that one, but excellent pancake by Choboy. Rodriguez initially reacted as well to keep the play alive. Big swing from Murray, kept in play. There's Chicoine. Choboy received it nicely, but there's a huge block. Myers ready for it.
She is stepping up as a player that was so quiet earlier in the match and now really dominating the court with her block. She's just straight up and down, taking great space, and it's hard for a player to hit over such a tall, athletic player.
My goodness, this 5th set could go either direction. Purdue now within 1. Timeout called by Nebraska coach John Cook. What is the message to the Cornhuskers in this huddle? How do they maintain the momentum they had just a couple points ago?
Of course, the message and the game plan right now is to get a great ball for the setter and to give every single hitter an opportunity to hit, to not being able to give the ball that is going to obviously go to the pins. So to get a better ball overall, to get a better offense, to score and keep the score higher than the other team.
You mentioned going to the pins a lot. Do you think Riley needs to go with the middles anymore, or that she could look to go middle more than she has?
Right. Of course, the slide has been successful, and so has hitting in front. So if it's going to work, and if you realize that if the Purdue blockers are taking a step to the outsides, then why not use that as an opportunity to mix things up a little bit?
11-10 the score. Nebraska, though, giving up the last couple points in their first fifth set match of the season. What is this team made of?
This team is made of fighters overall. To be able to fight for your first fifth set and to be able to have already a lead. So all you have to do is just close it out. For Purdue, you need to continue to just make strides and realize that we are playing against a good team. So let's take advantage of it and learn from the opportunities, the obstacles that we have overcome so far.
A couple of the Nebraska players hyping each other up as they walked out of the huddle. Their energy going to be everything here in set number 5. Nebraska looking for their first ever time in program history. They take down 5 straight ranked opponents. The dump over by Riley. Nice dig though by Brown. Oh, what a swing by Harper Murray.
And just like we talked about setting the pins, if it's going to keep working, let's keep on setting Murray. She's doing a great job in seeing that Myers is a little bit late to the block, so let's go right in between where there's a spot open.
Murray with her 19th kill. 10 digs as well with the double-double. Nebraska now with a 2-point lead. System here, Chacoin off the block. What a dig though by Skimmerhorn. Another great rally. Big swing from Murray.
Huge excitement from both sides of the court. Nebraska felt like they just scored, but Purdue also thought that that was out. So it's just determination of if they're going to challenge this ball or not.
There's the cross-court shot. Looked like it fell within inches. And Purdue is going to challenge the call.
This is a huge momentum for both Nebraska and Purdue. If they can get this ball back, then they can create a different momentum back on their side. But Nebraska needs this point to possibly win this set. Very unclear on my perspective, but Skimmerhorn seemed pretty accurate about her being super close to the ball. And of course the line judge is a lot closer than we are, so let's see from this angle. Any ball, any part of the ball that touches the line does count as in, so it looked like 10% of the ball maybe touched it, so that is in.
Okay, so you think ball is in, touch the line?
Yes, that is my call. Of course, we have professional officials that know a lot more than me, but we're gonna hope for the best.
Still, how clear does it have to be to overturn a call as well? Because if it's affirming a call stands, it's different than overturning a call.
Right, exactly. So with refs, they also need to decide what they can and can't see. With the technology, we hope for the best on what we can see. And also the line judges as well, they need to be honest on how much of the ball they saw that was in or out.
Tense moments here inside of Holloway Gymnasium. A huge possible swing based on which way this challenge will go midway through set number 5. Was the ball on the line or not? Will it be a point for Purdue or Nebraska?
Taking a look at both Nebraska and Purdue, seeing very little communication. So I guess the mental aspect about just talking to yourself and what you can and can't do for these next couple points is important, as not only a student athlete, but a D1 student athlete trying to win this match. Very, very close. And also the shadow as well.
The call is going to stand. Challenge unsuccessful. Point does go to Nebraska.
With a couple challenges remaining, this could be an opportunity for Shondell to slow the game down or for the players to find a stop.
Or to serve. Chicoine hits it off the block. Point Purdue.
A great response from Chicoine after a tough challenge, and realizing that even though we're down a couple points, we still have an opportunity to catch up and get a momentum. With such a great swing, this is the time to hit as hard as you can and use everything that's in the fuel of the tank and empty it.
Chicoine now back to serve. That was her 18th kill. Showboy dives to receive it. Murray, gets the touch. Huge point there for Nebraska.
Just overall, Murray finding just seams that are impossible to hit, and her finding the setter as well is so impressive overall.
Timeout called by Purdue head coach Dave Shondell. Coming down to the wire here in set number 5. Nebraska now with a 3-point lead. How about Harper Murray? The freshman outside for the Cornhuskers, leading the way with 20 kills, hitting .220, also 10 digs and 2 blocks.
This all comes from just the athleticism of Murray, and her being able to go to a program that is meant for her to dominate is absolutely stunning. To see her just tool the block and to understand that if a setter gives me a great ball, I'm going to do whatever I can to score on it.
Murray, an Ann Arbor, Michigan native, the Gatorade National Player of the Year, also Michigan Volleyball Player of the Year in 2022. Cornhuskers stole her away from the Wolverines despite being right in their backyard, but with the success of this program, certainly you could see why, and she has made a difference here in this match.
But obviously she gets to go back home for a couple games for a couple more years, so hopefully she'll have a nice homecoming at Michigan's home court.
Absolutely. But for now, still just trying to take set number 5, 14-11. The Cornhuskers with the lead. How do they close this out?
They close this out by simply getting a nice pass to a set to possibly feed Murray again. So this is a chance for them to feed off of what they've been building this entire match. So the nerves right now for Purdue is to keep a calm ball. They have the serve receive, so to get a nice ball. And for Nebraska to score is to possibly serve towards the pins that are going to be hitting soon.
That opportunity to try to hit the pins is Riley on the serve. Big swing from Hudson. Kept alive by Choboy. There's a hit off the block by Murray. Big stop, though.
Murray had a long way to go from such a deep ball from the court. So for her to be able to manage that is very, very lucky. But she tried her best with such a crazy ball for her to manage.
Skimmerhorn service. Tough receive by Choboy. Out of the back row there and successful.
Nebraska was able to close this one out and fighting all the way towards the end, and so is Purdue. They both offensively are threats for every.
Ganga Jal Recording Studio, Mahadev, Sahibganj. गिरान तोरा याद में आंसुआ बहे छे दिलवा रोए जान गिरान तोरा याद में आंसुआ बहे छे दिलवा रोए जान
गंगाजल रिकॉर्डिंग स्टूडियो महादेवगंज साहेबगंज
के करा सहारे रहबै के करा से दू बोलिया बोलबै अशोक अकेला के कहलू कि साथ न छोड़बै के करा सहारे रहबै के करा से दू बोलिया बोलबै अशोक अकेला के कहलू कि साथ न छोड़ब के रानी सोमी लागे आंसुआ गिरैले देहिया काप के लगे जा के रानी हमर अखिया से